In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, may peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah the Almighty be upon all of you. I am Umair bin Abid, or you can say Umair ibn Abid. And this lecture is displacement, properties of human language, and this is the second property. In last lecture, we talked about reflexivity. So, let's start. So, what is displacement? I think by the word you would understand that what does displacement mean. For example, displacement in normal way we can say that move from one place to the other. This is displacement. But in properties of human language, what is displacement? So let's talk about it. So a property of language that allows user to talk about things and events not present in the immediate environment. So it means that by using language we can talk about those things which are not present in the immediate environment. So it means that the property of displacement allows a speaker to talk about past, present, and future by using language, because this is past and this is future, which is not present in the immediate environment. Although present, to some extent, present is present is present in the immediate environment, but the past and future, one has been past and the other is coming. So we can use language to talk about past events and future events as well. There is no doubt that we cannot talk about present, and even there is no doubt that we cannot talk about past and future. Although in sociolinguistics we will look at a few languages which don't have all three tenses, past, present, and future. Some languages don't have these distinctions, but we are comparing these properties with animals. So animals communication is for immediate environment. So this is the basic difference, that animals communication is just for immediate environment. Animals cannot talk about future, animals cannot talk about past, and even animals cannot talk about displacement, or in this sense, that for example animals cannot talk about things which are not present or which cannot be seen, but we can uh, talk about these things as well. For example, you have a cat in your home. Your cat comes and says meow in your feet. Your cat comes, for example, and say meow meow in your feet. So if you pat your cat and ask the reason, so once again you will listen the same meow. You have a cat and it says meow, and you pat it, once again it says meow. So in both situations the cat is giving the same answer, meow. So you will surely know that the cat meow is for this immediate environment. So you will come to know that for what reason the cat is saying meow. For your cat is not saying meow about yesterday or 1 month back. For example, it means that when your cat says meow, so it does not refer to a past or future event. Your cat is not saying meow to tell you about an event of the last week, or an event of last month or last year. No, the cat is meowing about the immediate environment, about the present environment, right and now. In other sense, the cat is meowing right for meowing. The cat is meowing for right and now. Similarly, if you have a dog and it's a grr, or it is barking, so this grr is all not for last night or for the coming night. For example, once again, it doesn't mean that your dog is saying grr, or your dog is barking to tell about you an event of the last year. Although these things happen sometimes animals do such signals, but they do not do it fluently like human beings. So thus animal communication is valid for immediate environment, that is, animals talk for right and now situations. So if we look at human beings, human communication has the property of displacement. For example, I say I'm going to New York tomorrow. So now I'm talking about a future event. Similarly, his behavior was sophisticated. Once again, I am talking about someone's behavior in the past. We can also talk about things which are not present even in the physical world and we have not seen. For example, we talk about angels, fairies, Superman, Batman, heaven, hell. So these are all things which we haven't seen, but we have made these words and we are talking about these aspects as well. Some of these aspects come from religion and some we have created by ourselves, just like Superman, Batman. So these are things which we can talk about and which are not present in the physical world, and even we haven't seen these things, but we can talk about these things as well. So this is the property of displacement, that we can talk about future, we can talk about past, even we can talk about present, and we can talk about those concepts as well which are not present in the physical world. But there is an exception in human beings, in animals, and that is honeybee. When a honeybee finds a source of nectar and returns to its hive, it performs certain types of tasks for the location of nectar. We can say that honeybee has some degree of displacement. For example, when a honeybee finds a nectar source and it comes to inform other bees, so it produces different types of sounds for different types of locations. For example, sometimes honeybee perform round dance, and round dance is for if the nectar source is nearby, then the honeybee will perform round dance. Tail wagging dance, if the nectar source is farther away or more farther away, so the honeybee will perform tail wagging dance. And if the nectar source is farther away or much farther away, so the intensity of tail wagging dance will increase. So in this way, the other bees can work out where this newly discovered feast can be found. Means the other bees now can work out to find that nectar due to the dance of a honeybee who has found that source of nectar. So we can say that the honeybee has a little bit, or you can say some degree of displacement. But even this displacement is very limited. A honeybee cannot talk about or cannot indicate to another honeybee about, for example, it cannot say to another bee that delicious bush we visited last weekend. Only humans can say that delicious ice cream we ate or we had last weekend or last month or even last year or even 20 years back, 30 years back, 10 years back. But a honeybee cannot talk about in this way, or a honeybee cannot locate that source can locate that source of nectar, but it cannot talk about in this way that delicious bush we visited last weekend, so let's come once again we visit that bush. So this is the property of displacement of human language, and I also explained that whether animals can have this property or not. The next lecture will be about arbitrariness, which is also one of the properties of human language. So I hope you would have understood it. You can point out pros and cons in my lecture. I acknowledge that my speaking skills are not as good as these should be, but I am trying. So don't forget to give your feedback. Remember in your prayers. Jazakallahu khairan and thank you.